On August 8th, we're going to be having the Lionsgate portal. Now, I've never talked about the Lionsgate portal ever before, so this could be the very first time that I'm going to be ever discussing the Lionsgate portal on this podcast. To give you a little bit of introduction, it is a time when the Sun and Sirius are meeting together in the sky, and it's all about heart energy, heart coherence, life force energy, wide, big energy, full of all those kind of things going on. It is a time when new consciousness arrives on planet Earth. The water in the Nile gets filled up and things flood and things just explode outward for the people to enjoy. And not only this, but what also happens is we have, on this particular Lionsgate portal, since Leo, the symbol of the lion, symbolized by the lion, we have Jupiter in Leo, the Sun in Leo, we have all the aspects that Jupiter is making. We've just had the magic triangle happen in July of 2026. That's what I want to call it now. After being done, I called it multiple different things in July, but I'm calling it the magic triangle now. There's all kind of different names you can call the celestial event that we expressed in July. And this is going to be an astrology update. This is right before the eclipse, just 4 days before the eclipse is happening, and it's a lot of the themes that I discussed on the solar eclipse video that I did. The set of videos, they are available to watch in this podcast. I'm going to be carrying that over to this Lionsgate portal episode. So this is going to be the collective. It's going to be the 12 sign video coming right after. Now, I'm doing this 2 things today because I just evaluated, like, if I have the inspiration, I'm going to want to do it. And I do not wake up as early in the morning to do these. I want to be vitalized and full of energy and vitality because of how much it matters to me to feel secure and good when I'm doing these, so that I can have better days, happier days, much more fulfilling days, and much more fulfilling time recording these episodes for me and for you. So now, delving into this episode, there's a lot of things to discuss here. Now, the Sun and the fixed star Sirius, which I read it was from in Leo from 2000 to 2070, 70 years of being in a degree of a sign. Okay, not a sign, but a degree of a, just think about that, there's 29 degrees, and Sirius is at 14 degrees of Cancer from 2000 to 2070. Just think about that. Like, that's why they're called fixed stars. That they're fixed. They don't move very fast or rapidly or whatever. You know, they are fixed. They are stubborn. They are determined to be in their stuck place, and it takes a lot for them to move, and it takes a long time for them to move, you know. So, Leo. The Sun is in Leo, Sirius is in Cancer, Orion's belt. There could also be something like that going on here. All things that I have not talked about. This is more mystical and spiritual light codes. And light codes could come down to Earth more stronger at this time. So every single year, the Lionsgate portal is from July 28th through August 12th. The peak of it is August 8th. That is the portal. Think of it, August 8th, Lionsgate. August 8th, Lionsgate. Da da da. That's how you can do it. And you can make a little song out of it. You know? So, That's how you can think of it. All right, now, getting into what this actually means. And it'll be very interesting to talk about how this will apply to all 12 signs. This is more mystical and spiritual than it is astrological, but it is based off of astrology in a way, okay? So now, during this time, this is so interesting. I've never talked about this before, ever. Your intuition during this time, and this portal is particularly unique. Your intuition is heightened. You have greater sense of intuitive downloads. You could intuitively sense things from afar, sense things from a long distance and a long standing. Your intuition is on. You can greater sense the signals that come out from above in a backromaniac. You find that, and then your goals and intentions can be illuminated. You just have your goals, and the sun and everything illuminates them, brings them to light. And this brings about higher consciousness onto the planet. And I'm going to look up higher consciousness in this definition, which is an elevated, it says here, mental awareness. It moves past ego, the ego. Insight, compassion, love, soul connection to the divine, connection to something larger than yourself. So that is what that is. I thought I just might go over that. Okay. So, okay, so that piece is evident. Each of us is impacted individually by this. This impacts all of us, but each of us individually are also impacted in really, really strong ways that we need to remember. This is time for new beginnings, massive restarts and fresh starts and new beginnings. This is time where we're planting the seeds for new beginnings to come about. Now, Sirius is 2 stars, but it appears as one single star, rising in ancient Egypt, corresponding to when the Nile floods, when there is fertile water, when people can, in Egypt, plant their crops. The water can permeate the soil and create for beautiful crop growing and beautiful, fortuitous, fertile land, where the land is fertile, where the water is fertile, and they can plant their crops much more readily. And plus, if you use your deductive reasoning, you can find out how other uses of water, fish, transportation, etc., etc., etc. So there's multiple ways that you can use water. Water is a very, very versatile source and should be used in that kind of way. It shouldn't just be a one-trick pony, So, known in ancient Egypt, because we're talking about ancient Egypt here, where the pyramids, apparently, were, kind of like the Stonehenge when the light of the sun crossing down to earth created that beautiful, harmonious angle, or whatever, and it touched down to those stones, aligning with those stones. Now, this is what we're talking about here. Is we are talking about when the pyramids actually align with the Sun and Sirius together. So, it was known as a time of new beginnings, starting again. The land was fertile, and the water of the Nile nourished the land. So that is very, very huge with that. Now, the Sun and Sirius align tapping into the Sun and Leo energy, which is about confidence and self-expression and healthy pride and a lot of energy, vitality. The Sun in Leo is creative, it's dynamic, it's energetic, it has life force energy to it. It wants to be big and loud, it wants to shine its light. It's authentic, genuine light, it wants to take up space, and it feels worthy of taking up space. At the low road, we're seeking attention and validation externally, but at the high road, it's deeply loving to the self. So this brings about themes of power, success, and wealth. For us to really be in those themes being very prominent for us. Now the 8 number, August 8th, 8, a portal. This is a portal. 8 is the number of infinity, because if you look at the 8 and if you turn it sideways, infinity and beyond, you see that kind of, like it looks like infinity. And it can really make things happen. It deals with themes such as self-empowerment. It deals with what occurs in the material world, with how you can make things happen in the material world. It deals with a lot of manifestation, like creating things, and it gives you the desire and the passion and the optimism to want to create and form those great things that that we want to create. Manifestation is a lot of what it is dealt with. It deals a lot with this kind of thing here. It deals a lot with this. It deals a lot with okay, so it deals a lot with manifestation. Now the 8 is the amplifier. It just heightens the energy. It just raises the energy. Now this represents inner authority. Inner authority. This represents the inner authority, part of us. Because Leo wants to be the authority of your life. It wants to be the star of your life. It wants to be in charge of its own destiny, everywhere it's going in its life, and all that. It is the bridge between the earthly realm and the spiritual realm. The 8 is a very powerful number in numerology. It deals with material prosperity and financial prosperity. Now we're looking at ascension. We're ascending to the higher level. We're releasing old versions of ourselves. We're letting an old version of us die away so that we can go through the process of transformation, so that we can evolve to the highest level, so that we can move to a higher level of being, a higher state of being. Now, we're expanding to new growth at this time. We're growing, we're evolving, we're transforming, we're doing all this. We can take our vision and put action to it. What is our vision? What is our creative vision? And how are we going to act on it? How are we going to make it a reality? How are we going to co-create that reality? We're really the co-creators. We are in a partnership with the divine, where we co-create our reality with the divine. We don't just, we're not just creating it on our own, time, with our own mind and consciousness and energy and everything that we force into our life, but we are flowing through it and we're allowing the universe to sort of help us as we go about doing this. So, this is about self-expression. Leo is self-expression. It's about strength, it's about bravery and unconditional love. That is from your heart. It is passionate love. It is you loving very, very warmly and very, very generously, because Leo energy is very, very generous. It gives so warmly. It just gives so openly. It is bright. It is warm. It is fiery and dynamic. So it loves really passionately. That's what we're talking about here. Now, we are letting go here of what doesn't work for you with your higher self. Anything that doesn't serve you anymore, anything that just, is like, it's done. My soul's moved on. It's, done and dusted. I've crossed that on my list 2 years ago, a year ago, 6 months ago, or whatever. Leaving that behind. Now, any outdated beliefs that keep you from shining your light and being who you truly are, anything like that, I feel like with when I discuss Leo tomorrow, a lot of these things I'm going to be repeating to Leo really, really easily, because it is very Leo of a thing to honor and thing to stop time and really, really make the most of this Lionsgate portal. Not just the company that you see on certain movies. That's what I first heard, saw Lionsgate is this company for movie making. So I just thought I'd bring that in. So, outdated beliefs that keep you from being who you truly are and expressing your creative gifts. Now, this is a time of reflection, time of deep contemplation, but using your energy brightly. How could it be a time of reflection and a time of shining your light at the same time? Well, this is about becoming still with everything going on. Becoming still in our lives, becoming very, very stagnant, and very, very that kind of a sense of the word. So we are still, we are here now. We are present with what is happening in the earthly experience. And if I am repeating myself, I'm trying not to. I try to move fluidly through the points as best I can, but my Mercury and Taurus gets stuck on points, certain points. So I'm trying to break that habit. I'm trying to be really self-aware of myself, with doing that. So it's staying hydrated, drinking enough water, because this energy is really, really powerful, and that's what you want to make sure that you're doing. Now, getting off technology, maybe taking a break from social media and being overstimulated, being drained, getting outside in nature, taking your shirt off in the hot sun, maybe going to the beach if you're living in a coastal area, or doing something like playing a game outside or running. You don't want to run, it's so hot, but walking outside, doing something where you're claiming your own power. Do something creative. Do something that really, really fills you up and makes you very, very big and bright and bold and loud on this day, because it is that time, so it might be a good day to do podcasts like I do every day, but it's great energy for really, really shining your creative light out into the world, as I choose to do with these episodes. So, it's about doing deep, soul-centered activities that have meaning for you. This is about doing soul-centered things, soul-centered ways of being. You want to think about what is in alignment with your soul. What is in alignment with your heart and that kind of dynamic, warm energy. And, and not giving into the meaningless, deranged signaling of whatever it's going on for you. That is really, really important to keep in mind there. So, what would really make your soul happy and fulfilled? Now, if you feel worn out at this time, really, emotional, very, very tired of the norm, like sitting on the dryer, like the normal ways of being, then take care of yourself at this time. Really take care of your own body and your own vessel, making time out for yourself, to really feel filled up, because you want your cup to be filled up. You want to shine and be generous from a heart-centered, loving, authentic place around this time. Now, we are asked to become a frequency match with this energy. 2026 is a 1 year. We're in the year of the fire horse right now in Chinese astrology. The 1 represents new beginnings. It feels like a fresh start this year. I said that on Instagram, like back in January, that I have a feeling this year is going to be a great year, very dynamic year. Initiation. The 1 wants to lead. The 1 wants to be in charge and have control over its life and really be big and bold and make the moves in its life forward. Now, I'm going to create something revolutionary and new that's never been seen or done before. Creating something new, totally new. And this is creative energy. This is co-creative energy. This is manifestation energy. Now, the astrology going on with this particular day, getting out of the spirituality element, because there is some astrology. The Sun's in Leo and Jupiter is in Leo at 8 degrees, funnily enough. And our unique gifts are meant to be seen and shared. They're not meant to be hidden or under a veil. They are meant to be expressed in huge, profound ways. They are meant to be deeply out there and deeply, this is kind of like what you can experience before that big eclipse on the 12th. So I discussed the eclipse, and so funnily enough, I'm discussing the Lionsgate after I discuss that big eclipse. So this is kind of like an appetizer to the main course. The eclipse being the main course. And the eclipse is actually happening on the last day of the Lionsgate portal, and this is this is meal 1, and meal 2 is, we're going to eat a big meal today, so to speak, August 8th, and then on August 12th, we're going to have another really big meal. We're going to be eating the foods of the creative energy and the heart-centered desires and, like all these things. But let's space our eating out, okay? So, our gifts are meant to be out there, and this is time to put yourself out there. If you've been on the fence about being on social media or posting or doing whatever, I am on here, and it was inevitable that I would be on here doing this podcast and doing all this stuff. Because every single person and situation would lead me to eventually doing that. And I've done it. 5 years into it. So, so after the magic triangle, in July, with Jupiter sextile Uranus, trine Neptune, opposite Pluto, Uranus trine Pluto, sextile Neptune, Neptune sextile Pluto. That's what it is. I discussed all those aspects in last month. I have videos for each and every one of those aspects. You can go and check them out. I really put a lot into those, and I hope that you enjoy listening to those and really hearing what I have to say with those episodes. So let's talk about Jupiter opposite Pluto for the most part. This is about Jupiter and Leo, personal desire, expressing your heart energy, expressing your creative, dynamic energy that we feel in our hearts, and also to contribute to our larger communities. That's Pluto and Aquarius. Aquarius is the larger community. It is for the highest good of all. what is for the good of humanity, what is for the good of our community and the collective. That is what Aquarius has to deal with. It is about putting yourself, thinking of yourself less a little bit to serve the community. But no, it's not that. It's about being your individual self. It is about marching to the beat of your own drum, rebelling, being really, really individualistic, going your own way, setting, like Aquarius deals with, like setting trends and how do we impact our communities with our individual contribution, and that you are society in a sense, that you are a part of society. Jupiter trine Neptune, sextile Uranus, both of these aspects looked at the new visions getting planted in the soil. Jupiter trine Neptune, that new vision, the creative vision, the spiritual vision, as well as the inventive ideas and the flashes of insight that comes with that Jupiter sextile Uranus energy. Now, the Jupiter trine Saturn energy dealt with envisioning the reality that we want in our own sovereign lives. The reality that we want to co-create, that we want to choose and co-create, or choose to co-create with spirit. And where do we want to put in the work to make it a reality? Because Saturn requires the work. Saturn requires that you pull up your sleeves, roll up your bootstraps, and get down and dirty to the work. Be disciplined. Focus on your heart's desire, what you authentically want in the life that you authentically want to create, and what is true for you to create. Saturn says, if you want this, then you have to put the work in. You have to, be disciplined and sort of push yourself in a way where you are making one step forward, one step, and then another step forward to creating that dream. Saturn says, if you want it, then take action on it. Saturn demands action. Saturn demands initiative. So that we take the initiative in our own lives. And Saturn's in Aries right now. So there you go. And then Uranus sextile Neptune and Neptune sextile Pluto, have a lot of transformation and change going on with these aspects, a lot of spirituality, creating a better, more spiritual world where power is more equally distributed. Technology, digital spirituality, where spirituality is coming online. We're discerning about the information that we are taking in. We are being very, like some of the things I discussed in that Jupiter, Uranus, sextile Neptune episode, collective episode, was determining for ourselves and finding our tribe online and having good digital citizenship and all those kind of things with that I spoke about on July 16th. I recorded those episodes on July 16th. Now go beyond your limitations this time. Stretch yourself is what I want to say. And I want to advise you here to not limit your heart's your heart's expression with who you truly are, and being free to really, really live that out in your own life. And so what we do and who we interact with can bring about huge personal collective changes. That is paramount. Now, the sun is about putting yourself out there, making things happen in the world, really, really being active, very, very yang energy. And that's about connecting with our light and not being afraid to shine it bright, not being afraid to shine our own beautiful, radiant, special, unique talents and gifts and abilities, and the real, dynamic, proud, confident version of ourselves that we want to radiate out into the world. So can we radiate love and passion and fun and all these Leo themes? I'm going to be talking a lot about Leo with Jupiter in Leo and that north-south node being in Leo and the higher expression of Leo. We were meant to achieve the higher expression of Leo and release some of the more shadowy aspects of it with the south node being in the sign to reach the Aquarius North Node. Okay. So, okay. So then we're coming back to who we are. We are in our hearts, and to boldly declare who we are and express ourselves confidently. Who are we as individuals? How are we special? How are we unique? What is there to be proud of about ourselves? What is there to feel good and feel good self-esteem and self-worth and self-love with ourselves, and not being afraid to shine, not being, because at worst Leo is egoically self-conscious shyness, but at best it is in its heart energy, and it is genuine. It does not put on airs. It doesn't just seek, look at me, look at the attention. I want the attention. I want the people to take pictures of me, and celebrities. I want everyone to come flocking toward me, and I want to be the best person in the whole wide world, whatever. They want to, how can we just be ourselves and allow ourselves to be who we are without taking away what makes us special. So, it's about being our authentic selves versus performing. Where are we performing and showcasing a side of us that is just wanting to put on an act and put on a play and a performance just for others, just for the attention, just for the validation, outside of us, and we're not really doing it because we genuinely want to, because in our hearts it feels right to do. And where that's not serving us. It's also what the Sun and Leo is responsible for, having us evolve. It's time to follow our soul. This Lionsgate portal will ultimately get us more in touch with our soul, our soul-centered self, and what we feel called to do on that level. So, on a deep internal level. So, that is all that I have to say about the Lionsgate portal and the, not the birth chart, but the transit of it. It really is a transit. I mean, what is it like to be born on August 8th, Lionsgate portal, born between the Lionsgate portal? I know that my dad was born just 2 days after the peak of the Lionsgate portal, during the Lionsgate portal time frame. So his birthday is coming up just 2 days after this is exact. So, I hope that you enjoyed this and got something out of this. I hope that you found this valuable and interesting and useful. I will be back tomorrow to discuss the what it means for all 12 signs and how all the signs of the zodiac can benefit from this mystical spiritual event. And I know that Sarah Hall, that I follow, she has videos on the Lionsgate portal, and she has a video on this transit, so she goes over what that means, and she's deeply spiritual with her astrology, not really getting to the astrology, but getting into these events and getting into the spiritual angel messages that are channeled through her for those events, those energetic events. So if you want to check what she does out on her channel and all her offerings, you can go over there, just type in Sarah Hall and you'll find her. So anyway, I thought that I'd close out with that. I'm going to see you tomorrow for your 12 sign reading. If you want to be a part of this community, if you like what you heard here, then please join me on my journey to 1,000 subscribers. And I want to have people gather in tribe here on this channel, like-minded, loving souls that are, soulful and deeply authentic. That's who I want on this channel. That's the kind of people I want commenting under my videos and really tuning into my content. And I would guess, I would assume that you were on some kind of spiritual path if you clicked on this video. If you're watching this video, then that tells me, okay, well, this person is really open-minded and curious and wants to know how to work with the energy. Maybe not, but wants to know how to work with the energy, and believes and subscribes to that we are co-creators of our own reality. You are very spiritual person if you've sat through and listened to the end of this video and you liked it. That's who you are. Why wouldn't it be anybody else? Yeah. So anyway, I will stop there. I will produce this video and it will be premiering on my YouTube channel this afternoon, and I will see you back tomorrow morning for your 12 sign horoscopes. Later on in the morning, it will not be as early as today. It will be later on, or maybe tomorrow afternoon, or just whenever, because of my work schedule. I have to get that sorted out with the manager, so I'll call him right after doing this. But so anyway, bye for now, everybody. Take good care.